Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king. Ooh. Espinal. And joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend, the tank top sage. It's Joshua, Gangsta Time Cole.
Well, it's called Partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What's good, Chris? What up, everybody listening?
Oh yeah. Also joining us is our producer, Edgelord Big News Brian.
なんというビッグニュース
What's up, nerds?
Hey, we're back for another show. Very excited to get into it. We have some manga to talk about, very into it. But let's get into plugs. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
At JDCole_37. That's on Instagram, and at New Jump City Josh on X.
Oh yeah.
And TikTok.
Oh yeah. Brian?
You can find me at b.esp on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you ever want to catch me when I'm streaming, you can find me at twitch.tv/itspunchline.
Hoo-wee. You can also follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to email us, you could do so at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, any of you guys want us to talk about, your thoughts on the chapters themselves, all that jazz. And we'll read them on our pre-show chat show that we do every week. It's where we shoot the shit, read emails from fans, and, we talk about sports sometimes. It's a good time. Check that show out as well. You could also subscribe to us, please, on all the things. iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, Castbox, Pocket Casts. Hit us up on all those things. Check us out. Give us a like, a share, a follow, all of that thing. And also subscribe to us on YouTube. That would be super nice. That's it. Without further ado, let's get into the show.
Bloody Cross.
Sakamoto Days. This is Sakamoto Days, chapter 190, 1 in 10 to the power of negative 40,000? Yeah, that's the name of the chapter. Last we left off, the jig is up. Tenkyu has discovered that Shin has been lying about being the fortune teller, and as a result, he has kaboomed one of Atari's guards with simply an arrow. So now Shin is dead set on killing all of them. So it's a bummer. Shin starts to open this chapter trying to reason with Tenkyu, but Tenkyu just fires off an arrow and nearly hits Shin, and Shin is like, well, I have no choice but to fight this guy. And that's when Heisuke comes through, and he puts Tenkyu into a full Nelson, and he's like, Tenkyu, I'm sorry we lied. Let's talk this over. And the craziest thing already this chapter, fucking Tenkyu picks up an arrow. He takes his arrow, he drops it to his feet. He catches the arrows with his toes, and then he loads the bow and arrow with his fucking bare feet and points it at Heisuke behind him. Nuts. Heisuke
Certified.
Yeah. Heisuke manages to dodge it. I don't know how. But yeah, in the opening that Heisuke makes by dodging, Tenkyu jumps up and he goes to a random prisoner and slices his head in half with the bow string. He pulls back the tension, he lets it go, and the string is such that it cuts clean through a guy's head and splatters blood all over Shin. Tenkyu shoots another arrow again. Shin narrowly dodges it. And Tenkyu's like, he dodged it again. Shin must be the one with ESP. Heisuke points his gun at And Tenkyu is like, dude, chill. And this part's another crazy part. So after Tenkyu realizes he has no arrows, Heisuke shoots him. But that's when Tenkyu pulls the string back again, his bowstring, and lets it go right as the bullet is impacting it and sends the bullet ricocheting back at Heisuke. That was nuts.
Yo.
Like, yeah, this is so good. Anyway. Yeah, that's when he just like decides to go and attack Shin again. He knocks Shin through a wall and Shin falls down further into the prison. As Tenkyu is pursuing him, Shin tells him to stop with his ESP, but unfortunately it's not enough to freeze Tenkyu. And it's at that moment Atari comes in and embraces Shin and tells him it's okay. Ignore his attacks. Just focus on me. Tenkyu grabs a bunch of bars and uses them as arrows. And all of them miss somehow because Atari's luck with her lucky item, their fortune is extraordinary. And they're able to safely dodge all of this guy's arrows and then fall into a pile of garbage. To which Atari starts emptying out bags, I guess like gathering things into bags. And Shin asks her what she's doing, and and Atari is like, the chances of life emerging on Earth were 1 in 10 to the power of negative 40,000. And she says that the equivalent to the chances of putting the parts in the bag and shaking it and having them reassemble inside the bag. So she shakes this bag in such a way that when she puts Shin's hand in the bag, he comes out with a fully functional pistol. and we know it's functional because Shin is able to shoot it at a gas tank and right behind Tenkyu and blow it up. And in the ensuing explosion, they were able to escape. And the chapter ends with Tenkyu being like, wow, this fortune teller is mind-blowing. If I get a hold of her, maybe Kei will be happy. That's where that chapter ends. Josh, what did you think about Sakamoto Days, chapter 190?
He's a problem. Yeah, this is the RGC for the week.
Whoa.
I have no
Certified RGC.
Oh my God.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
Oh, I'm doing one more for Brian.
Certified RGC.
Yeah, times 2. Yeah, hell of a chapter. I don't remember his name.
Which one?
Tenkyu.
Yes.
Yo, he's a monster. He may not be the sniper that that group, the sniper that belongs to that group. He may not have the accuracy that guy has, or even that Heisuke has, but it's good enough. He would probably really give Sakamoto a problem. Unless he did some goofy shit like catch the arrows or something and put glue on, or like squeeze glue on his hand so they attach to his bow. That would be funny.
That is a very Sakamoto thing.
Yeah, this guy needs to stay in prison. He needs,
or he could join
severe
the
help. I mean, not right now. Not right this second.
Maybe later.
Yeah. Nah, but I guess honestly, the real star of the show is this girl, right? I mean, I want to say something. The chances of life emerging on Earth were 1 in 10 and negative 40,000. So that's, for those that don't know, that's to the right side of the decimal. So that's point, just mad zeros. I don't know how much exactly.
So many zeros.
I guess
It's a lot of
40,000 zeros, but that's exponent. Yeah, well, I don't know that much about it, but what's important is like, I think that's so incredible. Like even aside from like the manga, like no, like that's what some scientists say, that the way life developed on this earth was like the chances of it happening were that small, yet it did happen. And I just think that's amazing. I don't know, I don't want to drone on forever about that, but that makes life, to me, that makes life that much more precious because of how rare it is for it to form, unless you know have other beliefs about the creation of humans and the world, the universe, etc. But man, kind of puts things in perspective. What's also insane is how she got the gun. I mean, I think when I read this at first, I assumed she picked up like gun parts specifically and shook them together to make it, but she just picked up scrap and it made a gun.
Yeah.
I think that she's lying, that it's even, the chances of it is even more severe. It's like infinitely negative because it can't happen.
Yeah. It
I
feels
refuse to
physically
believe that
impossible.
she used magic, or maybe it's her nan ability or something. Perhaps there's conditions to it. But it wasn't by chance. I won't accept that.
I mean, if it is by chance, Domino's got nothing on this lady.
No, not at all. She could never do some shit like that.
It came out to be a fully assembled gun. It's not like a janky gun or a gun made of scrap. It's a perfectly clean, never been used before weapon.
Yeah, like it was in pristine condition too. I would have accepted if it looked all like kind of junky and ragtag, but it was a perfect gun, like right off the shelf. I'm zooming in on it right now. It looks great.
I literally also zoomed in on it.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I know you're supposed to have suspension of disbelief, but like, come on. Come on, bro.
Come on.
Brian, what were your thoughts?
This was a classic Sakamoto Days chapter, honestly. The coolest, most creative fights you could have in this on Shonen Jump right now. The fact, like, I was actually pogging when he like pulled the drawstring back as the bullet was flying towards him and just pink, slung it back. That was so fucking cool.
Yeah, I said this last week about
Yeah.
Sakamoto Days, but there's moments in it, and there's moments in a lot of manga that make me make Sopranos noises. That where I turn the page and I see it, and the first thing I go is like, "Oh!" That was a moment. The thing with the toes was crazy. Like the foot arrow.
Yeah, the foot arrow is pretty cool too. I just love this series when it gets to the action of it, like the nitty and gritty, cool ass moments like this. It makes me want to see more of this character. I'm not gonna lie. It makes me want this guy to be around a lot more after this arc, just because of that cool shit that he does. Being able to shoot an arrow from anywhere, and it's like a fucking javelin whenever he fires it. Pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of this guy's style so far. And it looks like he's going to be a redeemable character, which is going to be pretty good, pretty cool.
That's what you think, Brian.
I have faith.
I think he needs to be vanquished.
He needs
What
to
do
be
you use
obliterated.
Vanquish?
Because I've seen Charm. I have a roommate that likes watching Charmed a lot. It's a pretty good show.
Wait,
I mean,
Charmed?
it's okay. Yeah. They vanquish demons.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my thoughts. Really, this is a fucking awesome chapter for action wise.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say also, just because it was all action. I do like that Heisuke is keeping with the fact that like it's against the family rules to just like straight up kill a guy, and he's like still trying to reach some sort of reason with him. I think that ended when he shot him though, I guess, but I thought it was a very funny moment. He just reversed the bullet. It is a quintessential Sakamoto Days chapter. It's like kind of, if you want to get a taste of what this series is like, this is one of those chapters that tells you. And it's one of those things where you could tell that like the author for this series is just having so much fun being creative and making these absurd action set pieces. The bag thing was crazy. I can't get over it. It's so good though. I really like it. I think it's just a fun quirk to the storytelling because it is just an exaggeration. Just when you think that Sakamoto Days can't get more absurd, they do this. Where she shakes a bag enough and then it makes a fucking gun, and it just goes to show how fucking lucky they are in this moment.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, well, personally, I think it's the second worst bag gimmick I've ever seen.
What's the first one?
Bag
Like-
gimmick.
When you go get a bag of potato chips and half of it is air.
Mm,
That offends me a lot.
I agree. That's just a scam.
Second worst bag.
I can't believe that's
gimmick.
the second worst.
Yeah, I can't really think of any other right now. This
other
is
bag
top
gimmicks?
2.
The plentiful
Yeah.
bag gimmicks there.
I'm sure they exist.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot more bag gimmicks for sure.
But this is definitely one of the most offensive. I can say that with confidence.
Yeah. All right. Well, those are all my thoughts. Do you guys have anything else you want to add? Any other ideas?
No, sir.
All right. And with
The
that,
gun should have been scraggly.
the gun maybe should have been scraggly. But I think that that's the point, is that it just goes to show how lucky they are that they were able to. They basically hit the same odds as the universe creating life.
Make no mistake, she is God.
Yeah, I mean, when you do that, you hit God levels. But all right then. I suppose we can move onward.
Onward and onward.
Kagurabachi.
Uh-oh.
Are you gonna do it, Josh, or?
Are you prepared to? I can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Kagurabachi, chapter number 58. The name of the chapter is all the way at the end. Give me a second. Reunion. It's all the way at the last page. Very bleach like.
Yeah. How bleach-esque.
Yes. Okay, so man, this has been one hell of an arc so far. We've been introduced to two of the contracted swordsmen who are responsible for using the sacred blades that ended the war back then or whatever. I don't know how many years ago it was, but it wasn't that long. Probably like 10, 15 years or so, right? Anyway, recently though, the two sacred swordsmen have been fighting for their lives because they're under attack by the Hishaku. And Chihiro's dealing with one of their top members, which is a sorcerer named Yurihiko.
Hirohiko, I think.
Hirohiko, thank you. Yeah, you're right. However, shit has really hit the fan, I guess, for lack of a better word, because this guy with no arms all of a sudden appears with a sacred blade, one that belongs to the sorcerer Uraha. So we cut to 7 minutes earlier before Chihiro sees that, and they're back at the Sekutsuji Eastern Gate. And, everybody's just checking on each other, seeing, who's hurt, who needs medical attention. And, as Hakuri is, on the shoulder of one of the guards, he starts to, pass out, from overexerting himself too much. But when he nods, when he comes back, to consciousness, he sees everybody on the ground just laying down, and he's laying down too. And he looks up and he can see Samura and Uraha talking, and Uraha's like, "Oh, what's this about, Mr. Samura?" Hakuri realizes that this, everyone's knocked out on the ground, there's no blood or anything like that. He's wondering if they're unconscious, but he can hear the two swordsmen conversation continuing, and basically Uraha is checking him on what he's doing. He's like, have you gone mad? And Simon's like, look, we haven't had the chance to talk since all this commotion went down, and we have to think about what is it we're really doing here, right? What's the actual plan? Originally it was to, put the swords away and make sure nobody else can use them. But he feels that Samura, that is, he feels that if he ever had to wield his sword again, that he would probably take further measures in order to ultimately root out evil and protect the weak. So Uraha is right, that's why you need that sword to fight the Hishaku, right? They killed Rokuhira, they're evil. And Simon's like, yeah, but it's always bad, right?
But
hear me out now, right? The homicidal guys.
hold on,
right?
man.
Check it out. Aside from them, there's an evil far filthier than the Hishaku. Dirty. That must be punished even if it takes colluding with the Hishaku. And Uraha's looking at him like, what?
Bro, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and Hakuri, he's listening to this too. He's like, huh?
He's like, what?
Say it ain't so.
You ever seen it's I think you should leave?
Yes.
There's this
Yeah, I haven't watched all of it, but I've seen a lot of episodes.
There's a sketch called Brian's Hat
Funny.
where it's about these two people who get in trouble for, I guess, stealing from their job or whatever, or insider trading or something, and they get the lawyer's reading from their text messages, and they get sidetracked into talking about this guy Brian's stupid hat, and the whole sketch is them making fun of his hat, and there's this little moment where he's like, "What the hell?" That's literally what Hakari is doing. Right?
Is Brian the person that was reading it?
No, he's in the audience wearing the hat that they're talking. It's so good. I mean, that show is so funny. But there's a moment where they like start reading like them talking shit about his hat, and he's in the like jury, not the jury, but like, you know, the audience of the court being like, "What the hell?"
Why?
He's got dice in his pocket, and they make fun of him for whatever reason having dice.
I mean, why was this part of the litigation?
Yeah, exactly. They read the whole text message thread where they're making fun of his hat. And this must be what Hakuri's feeling right now.
I can't believe it.
He's like, "What the hell?"
Why? So, well, anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh.
Nah, you good. That's a funny show, guys. Y'all should watch that. Anyway, you know, Samura's basically saying, look, like the greatest evil is us sword bearers, Uraha. 18. Oh, that's how long it was. 18 years ago, we covered up what happened there.
What happened there?
And then it's repeated right after. What happened there? ... Question mark. He's like, we buried our crimes. Rokuhira and the rest of us were lauded as heroes. If that's what it took to restore society, we accepted that. Right? But you know, look. He feels like basically at the end of the day, all the sword bearers need to die by his hand. That's basically what he swore to himself because of all of the horrors that apparently they all committed. So Samura continues to say, unlike the Hashaku with Tobimune, I could slay just the sword bearers and spare their protectors. Uruha is like, bro, like if you kill me, they're gonna get the sword. Like, what is you talking about? Samura's like, I'll only let them use it briefly to kill the sword master, and after that, I'll just kill them all. He really thinks he's like that. And he's like, I told you, I intend to root out evil. So, you know, basically, Uraha like accepts what Samura is saying. He's like, you know, fuck it, we're just gonna have to fight. Everyone's like, you know, Hakuri can't believe it, and he's really hard on himself too, because he's like, damn, like this is all happening because like I transported Tobimune and not like the other sword too, or really because he did it in the first place. That's tough.
I mean, you know, how could you know?
Yeah,
You know that the one that he brought is the fucking one that the crazy dude.
Yeah. The chances are that the one sword that you brought was directly to the one traitor in the group.
Yeah, it was a 50-50.
right. It was a coin flip, right? Yeah.
I think it was less than a coin flip. I mean, of all five of them to land on the, I guess it's a 25% chance. No, less than that.
No, it was a 50% chance because it was between.
No, he only had the
players.
signatures.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I guess
only
the
had
chances
this.
of them going to Samura first, and then also the chances of them having Uraha and Samura and having to choose between them.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I feel like you could argue that it wasn't even a coin flip because, like, you know, Hakuri figured that Samura was stronger than Uraha admitted that himself, so he probably figured, let me get this strong to the sword, you know, to the strongest sword bearer first, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And it turns out he's a fucking traitor. So yeah, they about to fight. It looks really epic. We have a 2-page spread of them walking to the outer deck and drawing their swords. Is he using Tobimune against him? I don't think so. He's using a regular sword.
Yeah, he is using a regular sword.
It's respectable. It's very respectable. You can't say he didn't give Uraha a chance. And Hakury's on the floor. He's trying to summon his power. He's like, "Wait, Ichiro." He's trying. Oh, my bad, Chihiro. He's trying to like, I guess, bring Chihiro here. They draw their swords. We see something saying EA White Purity style. I guess that's his sword style. And Samura slashes Uraha, kills him in one hit. Well, seriously wounds him in one hit. Uraha's like, "Damn, you're gonna shoulder this alone?" And Samura's like, "Yes, nobody else."
Capital letters, yes.
Absolutely. But because I don't want anybody else to have to go through this. You guys could just die quickly. I forgot to mention this earlier, but part of the plan is that like right after he kills the other sword bearers, he's gonna then kill himself, most likely via seppuku. So right as Uraha is cut down, Chihiro gets summoned by Hakuri, probably using the last of his abilities and most likely giving himself permanent brain damage or something. As Samura says, "You sure are drenched in the stench of blood, Chihiro." And the chapter ends. Brian, what were your thoughts?
I don't know how I feel about this betrayal happening so quick, but I guess it had to kind of happen like this in this instance for this character. Like, he's not really trying to be deceptive about it. But it's wild that he held on to this for so long until he got the blade, and then he immediately turned healed. So does this mean that his other sword people are gonna, like his other ninjas are gonna betray them too?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe not.
Depends how ride or die they are.
I mean, they're pretty ride or die. Like they consider themselves like basically just weapons. So they could go
Their
either way.
duty is to protect. Their duty is to protect the swordsmen that they're assigned to. But fundamentally speaking, their organization is to protect the sword bearers.
Mhm.
So, can they support him killing the other ones?
I don't know, because they were specifically assigned to Samura. So I don't know, man. It could go either way, to be honest. It's like truly a 50-50 chance. If I were them, I'd be like, all of this and that, all the shit we just did.
This is overwhelming. Yeah. Sorry, Brian. I know it's your thoughts.
No, it's all good. You guys can
right now. Well, I had the thought about that. Like, well, damn, why go through this whole process and try to protect everybody and fight against the Hishaku and all of that? But then I realized his goal was to get his sword. I don't think the Hishaku would have like willingly given him the sword. So he figured, okay, as soon as I get my sword from this kid, then I'm gonna enact my plan. So it was just a matter of circumstances. Maybe he also knew that this attack was coming and that he would be able to take advantage of the chaos. He couldn't turn heel without his super strong sword because he would have been able to get beat.
Yeah, he probably would have lost to Chihiro. Just off the basis that Chihiro has an enchanted blade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious to see if Uruha survives or not, because just because he was able to use the blade doesn't mean that Uruha died yet.
You think so? I think that's the rule,
I think that's exactly what that means. I'm not.
No, you could use it. It's just the sword bearer's influence is going to take over eventually, right? So if he's still alive, he can only use that sword for a short period of time before Uruha takes over.
Yeah.
So if Uruha's really, there's a chance that he could be counting on the fact that Uruha's dead at this point and he's using the sword. You know what I mean? So he could still be alive. There's a very, very small chance that Uruha is still alive.
I thought of that too, but then I'm like, I don't think they specified that it's a conscious thing. Like if you're unconscious, then you lose control of your sword. The rule seems to be that they need to die for anybody to be able to use the sword.
No, because Kiora,
Kiora,
the Konami guy, used it.
Last week
And
they
the
mentioned
Swordbearer's
that
still alive.
like it seemed that Kiora was using it, but under the influence of the sword master that Shinichi is heir to. So like it
He
wasn't
didn't even draw the sword.
yeah, it wasn't necessarily like
Sorry.
Kiora using it. It was the sword bearer using it through Kiora. That
A little bit of power leaking out through the sword. Like he wasn't like. I think that was a unique situation, but I'm willing to. I think I understand what you're saying though, Brian, and maybe that's possible.
I
where,
think it's
like,
possible. I just
if he gets revived or something, like maybe if he starts getting healed and he regains consciousness for a little bit, they'll lose like they won't be able to use the sword or something.
because I too think
don't know.
that like I was surprised by how fast Uraha went out. Like it felt kind of unceremonious, but this is kind of the vibe of the series in general. So I guess I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah.
Uraha isn't dead, but just I don't story-wise I don't have any reason to feel like he's alive. Just because of the rules that have been set forth regarding the blades. I mean, I don't know.
I would also say that I kind of figured this. Like I thought one of them was gonna die. I thought that would be like the case. That one of the sword bearers was gonna die for dramatic effect for the Hishaku to take control of one of the swords to up the stakes. It just kind of seemed like that was gonna happen, but man, I did not think it happened like this at all.
Yeah.
Buck
for real.
fucking wild.
Were those all your thoughts, Brian?
Yeah, that's it for me.
How about you, Josh?
Oh, you don't have thoughts?
I do. I was just wondering if you were finished with yours. If you had gotten into.
I mean, I guess I don't have much more. Like, I guess it'll just be my turn because I don't really have much more to say. Other than like, yeah, I thought one of the swordsmen would die. Just to be clear, for those that have been listening know this, but if you didn't know, there's a little bet going on that we had about whether Samura was gonna die or not, and it's not looking good for me and Brian. It hasn't been looking good for the last couple chapters, as a matter of fact. However, Chris reminded us that we would ultimately decide this at the end of the arc, because who's to say Samura doesn't also get killed in this situation and he loses his sword too? That would be insane.
And by the way, by the end of this arc, I'm understanding that it's this temple area, this hot springs place.
Yeah. When we start getting transition, when they start talking about like recapping what happened and all of that, and they're figuring out what to do next, we'll know.
We'll know when we are wrong, Burgundy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's still hope for you boys.
I promise.
There's still hope. Anyway, I guess I'll get into my thoughts. This was my RGC.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
And yeah, I just thought it was like a really cool moment, and it's a good, confirmation of the twist that was heavily alluded to last week. The one thing I will say, and that gave me a little bit of pause, was I agree with Brian, is that I feel like this happened a little fast, and it was reminiscent to me of Undead Unluck, actually. with a character that looks very similar to Samura when Billy betrayed
When
the
Billy
group.
turned up.
Yeah, where we didn't spend that much time with Billy, and all of a sudden he was a traitor, and I was like, okay. But Samura is a little different because I feel like for whatever reason, Samura had a decent amount of exposure where we got to know his character very quick, and I think it's like a testament to Honozuki. I think this guy's name is right. His writing skills. Oh, Hokozono, sorry. To Hokozono's like writing skills that he very much, I guess, acclimated us to Samura very quickly, and it felt like I knew this guy for a while already. So like this betrayal coming in, even though it's fast, I'm like still invested, and I feel the shock more than I did when Billy initially betrayed his group in Undead Unluck.
Yeah, I agree.
But I still felt it was like a little fast. I wish there was like maybe an arc where they get away and we have a little build up to Samura betraying. Maybe that would have made it hit harder, but it's not. It doesn't make that big a difference. I felt like, although that I had that initial twinge of like that was quick, it wasn't like a deal breaker or anything. I think this was very well executed, especially with like last week with the 2-page spread of Kumiyuri being used, and you know all of us knowing the rules of the blade knows that can only mean one thing: that Uraha's dead, and this guy may have betrayed everybody, and it was a good way to reveal that. I would hope that Uraha is not dead. I'm not like pushing back in the sense that I want Uraha dead. It would be cool if he was, because I did also like his character very much. So, maybe he's not dead. So I'm going to hold off on the Mario death sound effect for Uraha. I will do that for him.
I think he's dead for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess we can hold off.
We'll hold
next
off.
week or something.
But yeah, I thought this was really cool, and I'm very excited to see what's next. It's not a good day for Chihiro. He's had a rough go at it today.
Yeah, this is a tough day for him.
Mm-hmm. I'm bummed that I didn't get to see what Kumiyuri could do, but I guess we'll find that out later. The fucking evil group, the Shizaku, they had
Hishaku.
the Hishaku. Sorry, they are now in control of 2 blades.
Damn. Yeah, technically with Samura, yeah, that's 2 blades.
They used to have 3 with the Cloud Gouger.
Yeah, and that's dead. Which makes me feel like I don't think we're gonna get, like, I don't think the Hishaku are gonna get the other 3, I guess, right? No, there's got to be 2 left, right? Because the Cloud Gouger is one of them. How many swords were there?
Oh, there's 3 more left. There was 6 swords.
Chihiro had the secret 6.
So it was 5
Oh, the
originally.
secret 7. It was 6. It was Cloud Gouger, Samura's sword, Uraha's sword, and then there's 2 other sorcerers, and then there's the evil one.
Oh, true. Well, then Cloud Gouger, I guess, is broken. I wonder who that belonged to, because there's only the sushi guy and the girl.
He got killed. Well, they got killed already, way earlier.
Who?
Whoever the Cloud Gougers.
Yeah, the Cloud Gouger one died.
Oh,
first.
yeah, that's why this guy was able to use it. Okay. Damn, I guess I'm losing track of how many of these things there actually were.
Because there was 5 originally, and Chihiro's sword was a secret. So
Okay,
there's
yeah.
6.
Cloud Gouger, Kumiyuri, this feather one is 3. Then there's the Shinuchi, and there's one more out there that we don't know.
There's two more. We don't know.
So that makes it 6.
Yeah, there's 6 swords, and Chihiro's the 7th secret one.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I forgot about that. I lost track of how
Wait,
many.
no. The Chihiro's the 6th. There's only 5. There's only 6 swords total.
I'm not tweaking.
Yeah, there's only 6.
See, this is why I'm tweaking. I'm like,
There are 5 swordsmen, 5 legendary swordsmen who have 5 swords, and then there's Chihiro's, which is the secret one that nobody knew about.
Yeah, you're right, Brian. I think I was I had a person pictured in my head, and they had like a hat and a mask on, but that was Uraha. Before, like, we seen who he actually was. So it's like this girl, I think, is the last sword.
well, who is the sushi chef guy then?
That guy's also a swordsman.
Exactly. So there's
Wait. So then maybe there isn't a girl. I don't know.
No,
there is a girl. There's a girl for sure.
Oh, all right. So right now, there's 4 of the legendary blades left. There's Tobi Mune, or whatever it's called. There's Uruha's sword, and then there's 2 more swords left. Because Cloud Gouger isn't around anymore, right?
Says this Cloud Gouger,
Yeah.
Magatsumi, Tobi Mune, and Kumayuri.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. So basically, there's just one mystery sword left. There's one we don't know
Wait,
of.
what? Wait.
That's
No,
what I'm
I'm
saying.
There's only
is
one
there's
mystery
5
sword
of them.
left.
No, I'm
There's
confused.
only one. All right, guys, just give me 1 second. All right, I got this.
I'm
I got
looking at the
this,
wiki
okay?
right now.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm gonna also break it down for the listeners. There are 5 sacred swords, right? And then Chihiro's is the 6th one.
Okay.
You know what? I'm just gonna wait on the wiki.
Hold up.
Hold up.
I could have swore there was an
Wait.
extra person before.
Okay, so
This is Ratchet.
is this Ratchet?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are. Okay, so in the beginning of this arc, we saw that there were 4 people left. There's Samura, the girl, Uruha, and the sushi chef guy.
Is the sushi chef guy the evil sorcerer?
No, he's cool. We haven't met him yet. Plus the
Oh,
evil
so I
sorcerer
was-
that is the Shinichi guy.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was right originally. There was 6
So there was 6.
swords, and Chihiro's is the 7th. I know I wasn't bugging.
Okay.
I thought there was only 5.
Okay, so we're after 4 of the swords right now, which are represented in the 4 swordsmen that they were trying to get and protect, which is Samura, the girl, Uruha, and the sushi chef guy. Besides them, it is the wielder of the Cloud Gouger who's dead, and the Shinichi. So there are 6. And N10 is the 7th.
So there are 7 swords total.
There's 7 swords total. 6 OGs. One of them's dead. One of them is the Shinichi guy, and the remaining 4 are the people that they were trying to protect and prevent the bad guys from getting.
And where's that Joshua's right trap?
I mean, Joshua's
You can get
right.
a Josh's right drop, but I can't get a Brian.
What? You actually have one?
No, I just said it. I just said it.
Oh, I thought that was a drop.
I mean, I can make that a drop, but if you want any additional sounds added to it, let me know. I told you guys, if you guys want to make drops for when you're right, you guys got to give me specifics because I want to make an X was right tailored to you guys.
I thought you just did some like type to speech.
No, I'm just very
Text-to-speech,
good at
like-
voices. I suppose. I suppose I'm a very talented guy.
Yeah, that's good. Yo, shout out to when Brian was in the singularity.
when I was
Yeah, when you were trapped in the internet for a month or
Oh,
something.
that was a fun episode.
Anyway. Alrighty then. Well,
Yeah,
that's
that was
all.
Kagurabachi.
That was Kagurabachi. I'm sorry for the weird roundabout, but we had to get this thing straight in our heads. Damn, that was crazy. All right, let's move on. Hunter
That's just-
Hunter.
Okay, here we go. Hunter Hunter. Pulling it up on the computer because
Chapter 407. Negotiations.
All right, so the chapter starts off at Halkenberg's funeral, I think.
It is Halkenberg's funeral.
Everybody's really sad and bummed out about it. You got some people hugging each other because of sadness, and they're carrying him up the great big stairs beyond.
Damn, those are huge.
And then we cut back to I forget which floor this is. And these are not Halkenberg, Saradnik's friends, like old childhood friends, who are in the Royal Army. And their leader Borkson, who is basically the smartest one between the 5 of them, or however many there were, I forget, is missing. This guy Octon is the one who says, "Hey, she's missing." I couldn't find this guy's name at all. The guy next to him, I couldn't find his name for some reason. But I know this girl's name. Her name is Mamali. So Borkson and Mamali and the rest of them are kind of like chilling, hanging around, trying to figure out what the fuck happened to her. They suspect that she got kidnapped because she wouldn't just leave without saying anything. And they kind of suspect that it's the Haley that have her, and their suspicions were correct. Borkson wakes up directly in front of Morena, which is a pretty big deal. And she introduces herself. She's like, "Welcome. This is the Haley." Well, she doesn't introduce herself, but she says, "Welcome. This is the Haley hideout." And Borkson deduces that she's Morena Prudo. And Morena, not wasting any time, basically says, "Yo, I want you to join me. I want you to join us. We're not going to force you, but we think you would be a compatible donor. And we'll do our best to get you to join us."
Owner.
Yeah, that very odd phrasing there. And Borkson kind of looks around the room, checks out the conditions. They aren't physically restraining her. There's 6 of them, and they took her weapons, but she doesn't remember being abducted at all. So she just assumes that Nen is what caused her to be in this situation. And she says she can't answer right away whether she can join them or not, but she can't answer right away. And Morena's like, not making a rash decision is wise, but the more we tell you shit, the harder it's going to be for us to back out. Which is probably a condition of her negotiation. So they continue, and Morena pulls out cards. She calls it a negotiation game. If you withdraw from the game, you will lose the freedom to do anything other than say yes or no.
Jesus Christ.
And Borkson says, "Let's just start with the rules." The dealer makes a request of the player, and the player makes a decision through the process. Through this process, I have 7 cards face up on the board, and you have 5 cards face down. You pick one of my cards, and I give you an answer. The chosen card is discarded to the graveyard. Next, I pick one of your cards and reveal it. That card is also discarded. We repeat, and the last of your cards remaining is your answer to our request. Let me guess. I have 4 yes and 1 no. Turn them over from left to right. Yes, no. What's this? Return. You can return one card of your choice from the graveyard to your board. If return is your last card, you can use it to retrieve the card of your choice to be your response. And then there's a Joker card, which is interesting that this appears because last chapter or 2 chapters ago, what's the name of this fucking Char guy again? Do you remember?
Which one?
The underboss,
Oh my god. He's the one I don't remember.
the smiling guy.
Yeah. I know
He
Henrik
said that
from the GU, but
he basically said that it's time for them to bring out their Joker card. So maybe whoever played this negotiation game with her got this Joker card as the response, right? The Joker can turn into yes or no. If this is your last card, you can also make your choice. You just said, and then Borkson says inform only. And she explains that you just said you'd take away my freedom to do anything besides say yes or no if I refuse to play. That means you won't let me leave until I say yes, right? What's the point of calling this a game at all? And then Morena asks for her to turn over the next card. And she does so, and then there's an X with like a swirling design behind it. And she says, X is neither yes nor no. It means you don't have to make a decision. If this, and Borkson asks if this is her last card, that means she can void the game itself and basically avoid it. So she'll be able to just walk out free. And and if she does decide to like if she does get any other card that forces her to decide yes or no, she'll take the responsibility of the consequences for her answers. So basically if she says no, she's pretty much dead, and if she says yes, she's in. So X is the only way that she can get out of here without being attached to these guys at all, I think.
Yeah, to remain the status quo.
Yeah.
Her salvation is through the X card.
All right. So Borkson asks, you haven't gone over half of the rules yet, have you? How could I answer? And then she starts thinking to herself, even just with these rules, it's clear this system stacks against the odds against her. At a first glance, the yes card, where I would do as she says, is only one of the 5. This makes it seem like I have more chances to refuse or leave the game, creating an illusion that she has an advantage, and that's the first trap. So essentially, this game is heavily stacked against the people who play it, and she'll have to end up joining unless she can get the X card. And there's just so much. Where's the second trap? Okay, so the second trap is she explains all sorts of horrible things that could happen around her if she says no, and this will keep going until she says yes. So no and the Joker cards are pointless, and her only real cards are return and X, which is 2 out of the 5. But it's still 40% chance of winning. So she continues, and she's kind of like, no matter how many cards are good for me, none of it matters as long as the game entails her picking my cards. They can cheat all they want. And then Morena starts to explain her cards. There's the aim card, and if she picks the aim card, she'll explain her goals. And the next card is the power card, and if you pick that one, she'll explain her ability. And continuing, she goes on to explain, although it might go over her head, she'll only tell you the truth without hiding anything, and she'll go into as much detail as she needs to. So if there's a chance that if Borkson doesn't ask the right questions, she won't explain certain things. But again, the longer this takes, it's a risk for the both of them. So she has to talk pretty quickly. The next card is question A, and she'll answer as many questions as she has, as many times as she wants, except for anything about her goals and her abilities, because that comes with those cards. Those come from specific cards, and to answer, and her answers can only be answered. Her questions can only be answered in the form of yes and no questions. Wait, yes or no, or yes and no, to be specific. So, continuing onward, and if she wants more detailed answers from her questions, she'll have to pick the question B card on a later turn. So essentially, when you ask a question, from question A, to get a more detailed response other than yes or no or yes and no, you have to ask a question B to be like, I don't know why, or hey, like, can you explain more, kind of thing.
Yes, that is correct.
So she goes ahead and she asks her that if she will. Wait, okay, so she asks her, or she tells her, you will not cheat within the game at any point, yes or no. And this kind of surprises people in the room. Marina's a little indifferent, so it seems, but she takes a moment to respond, and she says negative questions can create the potential for misunderstandings. It's quite important to clear up any confusion beforehand. When answering a negative question, such as "you haven't done it," there are cultures that accept accept the reply, "Yes, I have not." Oh my god, bro. Usually this person answers for themselves, and yes and no are absolute terms. Thus, no, I have not. So basically all this to explain that she's saying, no, I will not cheat, answering from her perspective. Does that work for you? And Borkson says yes, and as she thinks, she feels a lot of anger coming from Marina right now, which is very counter to her appearance. She seems very calm. And she wonders why she's so fucking mad. But she thinks to herself she won't cheat. It's obvious she has absolute control simply by looking at her and her cronies. She's confident but respectful towards me. From her attitude and intonation, I can tell cheating isn't allowed at the organizational level. All right, so she goes in to explain the last card, which is the D, the Devil card. And if you pick this card, if you pick this card, you really need to take back. Okay, so basically you can bring back a card from the graveyard, but you'll have to do a request for Morena, I think, right? That's how that works.
Yeah, she basically you can resurrect a card from the graveyard in exchange for doing a little favor for Morena.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna end well.
But it's optional.
yeah.
She mentions that it's optional. You can deny the request.
The game ends when you're left with one card. So your last chance to use this card is when you're down to 2 cards. There, I'll explain all the card rules. There, I've explained all the card rules. Now it's up to Borkson to decide whether she will play the game. And Borkson says she will under the condition that she'll pick which card, that she'll decide which card that Morena will pick of her face down cards. And Morena says, sure, that's happened before, and I'll take care of the shuffling, right? And the chapter ends with them beginning the game. Oh my god. Okay. Josh, what are your thoughts?
This was one of those chapters where like Tagashi, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he kind of gets a little neurotic about whatever it is he's interested in or something.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Oh
man.
yeah.
Like this happened a lot during the which arc was that?
Greed Island.
No, I'm not. No, not Greed Island, because it was a central point. The whole thing, that it was a game from my point of view. In the Chimera Ant arc, there was so many people's abilities that like broke down like games or something. Like I remember the dark guy. Yeah, I remember the dark guy that was like hitting Killua with those like those swordfish
I don't know. I didn't
from
read
like the
Greed
safety
Island.
of the bar. That's not Greed Island. That's the Chimera Ant arc.
Oh.
Your beloved. Oh no, actually,
Wait,
your
the
favorite
dark
arc
guy?
is York New.
No, well, I think I do like Chimera Ant more. You said the dark guy?
Yeah, he had darts. It was him and his sister.
Oh, the ones that
They
died in
were-
the beginning.
Yes. No, they didn't die in the beginning. I wouldn't say it
Am I
was the
bugging?
beginning.
I think I'm
of the arc.
misremembering. I think I'm like mistaking them for someone else.
Or whatever. They're pretty obscure, but the point is, Tagashi does this a lot, and it's not always a bad thing. I don't even think this was bad necessarily here. I'm always all of the characters in this series are so intelligent, even Gon. Like, these people are the Hunter x Hunter universe is incredible as far as like the base human goes. They probably like base humans and Hunter x Hunter probably like low diff every other franchise's normal humans. Anyway, what to say about the game? Well, I think it's clear that the only way out is for her to be able to just leave without saying yes or no. Death if she says no. So she's gonna have to say yes based on all those other cards. I think I'd have to read this chapter a few more times to try to see like where the potential strategy could be. I haven't I feel like it's important to get information about her ability. That's probably what I would do first. If I could choose any cards, so that if I don't know anything else, like I think that's the most crucial information.
Mm.
I mean, her goals, it could be, I mean, who cares, right? I mean, obviously, she doesn't have any positive goals, so they're not ones that she'd probably be happy with or would accept. So this is, man, this is a tough situation to be in, but you know what? I'll say this, Morena, she didn't have to do this. She could have just threatened her and forced her to join her cause. But as a matter of fact, as I say that, this probably has everything to do with her ability. There's probably conditions that had to be met through playing this game that force her to like totally be under her control or something like that. I think Morena's a manipulator.
Morena
Or is
has
she
Morena has the ability to pass on an inability. She's the one, like, her ability is I don't know if this is a conjurer or an enhancer or something, but like by exchanging saliva with people, she can bring out latent Nen abilities within them the more people they kill. So we already know Miranda's ability. It's just Borkson doesn't know.
And why the games? I feel like this has something to do with conditions.
It could be a condition for sure. I mean, like the deal is that if Borkson doesn't play her cards right, she's obligated to help Marina.
Yeah. What she could have forced her to do regardless.
Yeah, so I'm sure that this is like kind of a Nen pact of some sort, but I don't think it particularly has to do with her ability. This is just kind of making a deal through Nen, probably.
Yeah, to force like loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't really have too many other thoughts. Imagine Nobunaga just walks in the room.
Yeah, Nobunaga just
like,
opens the door. It's like, oh,
I want to play cards.
Yeah, that'd be so funny. Yeah, I like this chapter. I feel like I would have liked it a little less had I not primed myself for it by rereading the entire Succession arc again. Because now I'm kind of just used to this kind of overcomplicating style. If I feel like in this chapter, in the same way that this week's chapter of Sakamoto Days was a quintessential chapter of it, and it's a good showcase of generally what the series vibe is about. This is the same for Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
It takes a very simple goal, which is to coerce this lady to join their ranks, and gamifies it. And Togashi is a gamer, like no other. This guy is like a serious gamer. A lot of Hunter x Hunter, I feel, is influenced by his love of very complicated puzzle games. And this is just another one where, he's just gamifying a dramatic tension or a dramatic scene circumstance. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, but like I can see why this series at this juncture is very much an acquired taste. Because, you got to be all in here. It's very complicated. And if you miss anything, you'll be a little lost. It took me a couple times. This is one of those chapters of Hunter x Hunter I had to read a couple times just so I remember what all the cards do and what they signify. And, it really is just amounts to that Borkson is under a complete, it's an unfair situation for Borkson because there's more opportunities for Morena to force her to join than there are for Borkson to leave. So I guess we'll just fucking have to see. I don't know.
Yeah, we about to find out how loyal Borkson is to Serednik because it's looking like if she loses this game and has to work for them, it probably is going to activate some type of condition, and she has to choose that or death.
Yeah,
and if she's really loyal, she'll probably choose death. It would be a very Hunter x Hunter thing to do.
Well, Serednik
honestly
is a benefactor of the Haley family. In case you didn't know.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure she wants him dead.
Yeah, I guess
she took over. Like she wasn't always the boss. Like this is like a revolution. It's mutiny.
Yeah, I'm
remember
not,
like she came out of nowhere.
She definitely took over the Haley. I don't know. I don't remember how Serednik feels about that particularly. I do think it is interesting that she picked a soldier that is particularly loyal to Serednik. So, I wonder if that's like took into account and is the reason why she specifically is trying to be recruited. Yeah, because of her ability to probably be able to get close to Serednik.
That's what I'm thinking.
That being said, I do think that this is a trap given Serednik's relationship with women in general. So I feel like that could backfire. But I don't know, man. This is just so many layers, and I'm just kind of here to enjoy the show. I'm just accepted that I'm not on the same IQ level as Togashi sometimes. I'm just like, I'm just gonna let you do you.
I feel you, man. You're not alone.
But Morena is a really interesting character. I'm excited to see what her plan is, because I think that would probably be the first one I'd ask. Just because she would have to explain why she brought her there.
The thing is, you would have to beat her. It seems like you would have to beat this game in a short period of time too.
Yeah, because you have
no, we don't know what she means by this when she says they only have a short period of time.
Yeah, she says that the longer this goes, the more dangerous it is. Probably because people are probably going to notice that Borkson's gone and start looking for her. But I don't know. Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Could be that, or it could be that the longer the game goes, the like the more Borkson gets fucked over or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it takes like a life force away from Morena too.
Yeah, the implication is that it's kind of a lose-lose for both of them the longer it lasts. Like, it doesn't benefit either of them to take too long.
So pretty tough situation.
Yeah, I don't have many thoughts on this chapter because a lot of it is an explanation of a card game. So, like, I guess the card game's interesting. So we'll have to see how Borkson plays it. I think next chapter we'll have a lot more to say because we'll learn more about probably Morena's goal here. But yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. I don't really want to prolong it too much. It was a good chapter, but like, it's hard to talk about the content because it is just a rule explaining thing for the next chapter. But all right, are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. Let's go.
För mig pickningen är det kjære med som kan chat.
Undead Unluck. And with that, I'm going to pass this one over to Cherish.
Undead Unluck. Chapter number 231. Remember. Last chapter, what's been going down? Well, Julia met up with Victor inside of Andy's consciousness, ripped him out, and through her love and understanding of Victor and her past lives, she was able to manifest injustice. Epic. And Soul was very upset. Ooh, he's irked. So in this chapter, he's like, I won't let you go. I'll kill you while you're still incomplete injustice. And I guess he says that because, you know, injustice can't use her ability like 100%, like at all times, because Soul is able to use his powers now. Fuko notices that Julia got her, you know, manifested her ability. So she goes to like meet up with them. No, I'm sorry. She doesn't go to meet up with them. She's like, all right, you know. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Victor and Julia get up out the area where Soul was from like the round table out to like the you know, to outside on the regular ground. And Fugo busts out the remember card. She's like, all right, it's time. Let's upgrade everyone and Matter of fact, she says, take the memories from all the loops ingrained within our member souls and set them free. Activate. We cut first to Billy, much to Brian's delight. And Tella's like, Captain, look at War. And then War is like, all his like guns and ammunition and shit is falling off him. He's like, what? My equipment's falling off. And then next thing we see is Julia pulling up with her rapier and stabbing him right in his head, and seemingly killing the Master Rule War. You want to drop one of those, Chris?
Oh, right. I forgot these things actually die. Let me see if I find it. I usually have it locked and loaded, but maybe it's here. Yep.
Thank you. Keep that on hand, all right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, I got it ready.
Julia's like, yo. She pulls up a victim. She's like, yo, copy on justice, Billy. You can do so now, even without being our enemy, right? And Billy was like, yeah. I'm not going to do it again. I got it. All right. She's like, yo, go help ripping the others. As for me, I'm going to go somewhere else. So we cut to Fang and Time, and I guess they've been fighting, and Time looks really young. I think that, yeah, we've seen him get young already. He's got a fedora and a staff. Oh, not gonna lie, pretty cool character design. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because he notices that War was taken out, and in the second that he looks away, Fangs comes and punches a hole through his chest with his fist. He says, "Fool, never show the same." Thank you. Never show the same opening twice. You're dead. And Time is like, I miscalculated. He says, in that case, at the very least, I'll take all your time. So he tries to, I guess, in sore loser fashion, leave Fang with a pardon shot to take away the rest of his life. Julia comes right by to reverse the effects of the Master Rule Time that is now dead. And like, I'm not deserving of your charity on justice. And she's like, yes, you are. You fought with all of us, Fang. You mad, whole lot. You're going to be saved by me. And it makes logical sense. So we cut over to Rip, Latla, and Billy. And they're running for their lives from the monstrosity that is sick. He can't really use the injustice ability on Umas because he doesn't know how to. Pretty rough. But right when shit was looking really bad, Untouchable and Unback come out of nowhere. Untouchable's like, oh, sorry for the wait, Mr. Billy. I promise you haven't forgotten it, have you? And mind you guys, everybody remembers everything from the past now. So, like, everything that happened in the previous loop is all relevant. They remember Billy betrayed them, but everyone's cool with him now. And Tatiana still looks up to Billy and all that. And we got Unback, which, by the way, has a ball that she wrote Siku on. Does that mean sick in Japanese?
I don't know. I don't know what Unback
I don't
does.
think so. Yeah, I think she's gonna do something with sick. So anyway, they arrive and Billy's like, yeah, let's fight together. So next we cut to Undraw. You say, and what was this? Justice. Julia and Victor smoked him off screen. Her power is like super OP, whatever. But she's like, listen, without you Undraw, like, like I wouldn't have been able to like beat him anyway. You did a great job holding him off. Leave the rest to us. And why don't you clean up that wound on your shoulder? So they say all that's left is, and we cut to Gina and Change. So Unchained versus Change. And she's like, and Change is like taunting Gina. She's like, no matter what you throw at me, the rule of change will override it. And she's like, a vessel stands no chance against the rule. And then, and then right as she was talking all that shit, we hear Gina say, long time no see, Jaunty Justice. I don't know why she goes to Jaunty. I feel like if we go all the way back to the beginning, we'll see her saying that. But, you know, Unjustice negates her change ability. Basically, it allows Gina to cut her in half. So she says thank you as they're passing, and now we cut to Fuko and Andy facing off against Luck and Death. Fuko shoots a so bad bullet at Luck, and he's like, damn, why can't I dash this with Luck? He's like, oh no, it's Injustice. And right as he tries to warn Death, she ends up slicing his head off by accident, I guess. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Today just wasn't my lucky day. And Death looks actually really sad about that. And she's like, oh, you bastards. Like, I guess trying to kill Fuko. And she gets stopped by a double dead road by Andy and Victor. And yeah, it's epic. They pull up and they're like, all right, you know, Victor the clone has like 10 minutes left to survive before it dissipates. I guess that's as long as Andy's copies could, you know, last, especially powered by Victor's soul. And they're like, yeah, let's go and put an end to it all and fight God. And that was the end of the chapter, guys. All right. What was your thoughts, Brian? Jaunty Justice.
I thought this was all right. I thought this was all right chapter. Kind of feels like Undead Unluck is gonna end within the next like 5 chapters.
Give or take.
Yeah, give or take. I forgot how old Shen looked like, to be honest. I mean, not old Shen. Old
Hey.
Fang looked like, yeah. And he just came in and bodied this guy. I really did not like the fact. It's so annoying that they keep bringing. What's the name of Untouchable again?
Tatiana.
Yeah,
Oh, the girl,
like this was
Tatiana.
egregious. This was egregious this week.
I think I was so numb to it. I didn't even like.
I saw it and I was just like,
I don't
okay,
know
man,
why.
why like that,
Oh my god,
bro? Like,
I didn't even notice. Why did you have to inspect it like that, bro?
like why, man? I don't know, dude. I just don't. This
I'm
is
not
just so
blaming you.
stupid.
I just wish you didn't notice it like I didn't notice it.
Well, I mean,
And
I
I do.
turned the page and it's literally just the biggest panel on this page. How am I supposed to miss that?
I think I just seen the large letters like untouchable, and then I see unbacks, and I was really interested in how unbacks look. 'Cause, you know, we barely get to see them. So I'm being honest. Like I think that's how that happened. Cause I swear I only read this chapter once. I didn't even reread it.
You
for the
just try to
recap.
block Tatiana from your mind at all times.
No, not. I think subconsciously. Yeah.
But yeah, everybody
My brain
got
did
their
that for me.
got their shonen 1v1s finished, or most of them got their 1v1s finished.
If you could call it
Yeah.
that.
It was pretty cool, pretty cool finishes to some of these fights, and now all of them are together, ready to finish the job. What do you guys say? Like 3 chapters left? 2?
I would say 4.
What about you, Chris?
I'm gonna give it the 5.
All right. Well,
3,
this
4,
was
5.
This is an alright chapter of Undead Unluck. I'm curious to see how they're gonna try to wrap it all up. But those are my thoughts.
This series is a pack. It's over.
Yeah.
I mean, having Julia come in and one shot everyone's like fight.
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah. Trash.
pretty wild.
And you know, I just feel like Undead Unluck was canceled. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
That is the reality.
I just feel like they were just
sure
like,
of it.
hurry up, it's over. So
You think it was the Tatiana stuff?
no. Unfortunately, probably not. But I don't know. It's a bummer. You know, I would have liked to have seen Undead Unluck go out in the way I wanted to. You know, we got to see all these characters kind of like have their closures, and that was kind of robbed of us. I don't think this was planned. You know, this has to have been like editorial interference saying that you've been canceled. Sorry, bro. Wrap it up in a little bit. And yeah, it's just a shame, you know. I don't want to rag on this chapter too much because I do feel like it is just what it is, and there probably wasn't a whole lot Tezuka could do about it. But you know, what are you gonna do? I guess I'm just like kind of overall disappointed. We didn't even get to see Death and Luck go versus Undead Unluck.
Yeah, we only saw like the ass end. Not even.
Yeah, it's crazy. Julia's just going around teleporting to these different areas and just killing everyone.
One tapping everybody
Yeah.
with the pump. It's crazy. I got a serious question to ask you though, Chris. Even though both of these series are at different states, I guess, and you haven't even caught up to it fully, I guess, what series do you enjoy reading more? Undead Unluck or Yozakura?
I don't even know why you asked this question. I mean, I have the longest connection to Undead Unluck, so it is Undead Unluck for me. But you know, I've been making decent headway on your Zakura family. I'm like over 100 chapters in, like 110 chapters or so in.
Who's your favorite character in the harem?
There's no harem in Mission Yozakura family. The main couple's married.
Spoilers.
I mean, they do that in the first chapter.
Way to spoil
Double
it, Chris.
spoilers.
Hmm?
Double spoilers.
Well, spoiler alert for Mission Yozakura family. For the premise of Mission Yozakura family. But yeah, there's no harem here.
No harem to see here, guys.
No harem here. Move along.
Yeah, it's just in down to down.
Barely. I mean, I would barely constitute that as a harem.
I'll accept barely. I'll accept barely. As long as it's at least a small
I'm
percentage.
being generous by saying barely.
You're entitled to your unbiased opinions.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, honestly, those are all my thoughts on Undead Unluck. It's a bummer that it's going out this way, but I'm trying to enjoy it as much as I can. I will say the art's great. I always like the designs of the master rules, but now they're just getting one-shotted. And it's no fun anymore. Like Sick, who was a huge character and like, you know, was a big deal, is just one-shotted by Tatiana.
I didn't even see that. So he lost. I thought they was about
I
to
guess
fight
so.
him.
I guess he's dead.
Yeah, because Julia said, "Oh, there's one more to go." And there was change. Yeah, pretty wild. They all remember their past lives. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, that's all. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
Josh, what did you think?
I don't have really much more to add. I wish we could have seen a little bit more of the fights, but whatever. Fun chapter, nonetheless.
Well, if there's no more rebuttals, I guess we could close this one out, guys. That's been our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. As per usual, you could find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Josh is at JDColt_37 on Instagram, at New Gym City Josh on Twitter and also TikTok. Brian is at B.ESP on Twitter and Instagram. You could also check out his stream at twitch.tv/It's Punchline. You can email the show itself at New Gym City at newgymcitypod@gmail.com. Please do that. That'd be super cute. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's our YouTube channel or wherever, whatever podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any and all of those. Check us out. Yeah, that's it. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, New Gym citizens.